All right, so I decided to kind of take this as a road trip because that's how I ended up in my career. So we'll start with the background of myself. The early years, so I was born in Pine Bush, New York, a little small mountainous town, about an hour and a half north of New York City. I'm the youngest of 6 kids, those are all my siblings there. I had to learn at a very young age how to be louder than the rest, how to get my voice across, get my opinion across. And with that, my parents used a board for scheduling. So it was everybody's name every day of the week. If you didn't write what you were doing on that board, you didn't go to practice, you didn't go to whatever engagement that you had. So it was instilled at a young age to be very scheduled and regimented in what you do. And that's just the basis of having 6 kids. It's just crazy. So from there, when I was 10, we moved to Dayton, Ohio, just an hour north of here. That's kind of where I grew up and really, found my way, decided, I really like technical stuff. I like computers. My dad was in computer science. So, I decided to get a job at a computer shop and work through high school there, thinking that was going to be my path. In this time, I was also a very avid golfer, and still am. I actually golf about every weekend now, and I'll get into that a little bit later. And as I mentioned, I was very into electronics, computers, taking stuff apart, so I thought that was going to be my path. So the college years, when I first started at UC, seeing that I enjoyed computers and things like that, I decided to go into computer science. That did not work for me. I'm not the best at electrical engineering and circuits and stuff like that, but I didn't find that out until I came to UC. Luckily, I found out very quickly in the first quarter, while we were still on quarters, that computer science was not going to be my path. So I decided to go exploratory for the rest of my freshman year. The nice thing, during high school, I was in post-secondary enrollment option, so I actually transferred in about 30 credit hours to UC from high school. So it didn't set me back any by taking that first step into computer science. Started the first year, I was trying to get into CCM. I thought I wanted to do e-media. I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. I've always had more of a creative side. I'm like, how can I leverage this creative side to produce something, cool, something that people want to see? Well, I found myself in communication. I was taking a lot of just comm classes. Intro to Ret Theory was probably the class that really pushed me to continue on the path in communication. I just really liked the intensity of Chris Gallion. I don't know if any of you had the opportunity to have her as a professor, but amazing professor. She was very strict, regimented. It kind of reminded me of my parents. Like, put your book bags on the side of the wall. You don't have any electronics. You have to take notes by hand. I felt that really pushed me into, okay, let me look into comm a little bit more. So through the communication degree, I had awesome professors all throughout. I never had the chance to actually have a class with Autumn, unfortunately. But every professor that I've had has always been very helpful, and to this day, I can still reach out and ask for help. Recently, I've been kind of working with Suzanne Boys. We have a bit of a crisis communication going on. I think I reached out to you as well for that, Autumn, but within my current position, we had a pretty interesting tactic happen. So I've been working with her on how do we, move forward in this sense. And I also have my PR certificate as well. I'm thinking about going back for my master's, just waiting for my company to say that they'll pay for the bill. I don't want to pay for that myself. All right, so through college, my internship experiences, my first one was with Game Day Communication. I don't know if any of you had heard of them or not.
Betsy came in.
Did she? Okay, great. She's amazing. They do awesome stuff around the city. My main things that I did was travel with the Reds Caravan, so that was awesome experience. I actually got to travel with Todd Frazier, Billy Hamilton, Jeff Brantley, and a few other old Reds players and kind of front of house players. So this was a time where, okay, I was getting into more of the promotional stuff, and I really enjoyed going out into events, promoting different things. So for Game Day, we were promoting for Cincinnati Regional Tourism Network. We would go out on the Reds Caravan, we would hand out the schedule of the Reds coming up, anything in Cincinnati going on, and try and promote people to come to Cincinnati to see a Reds game. The leg that I went on was Indiana, so it was still relatively close, easy to try and get people to come to Cincinnati. Another thing that I had to do, World Choir Games. So I am this giant purple Smurf looking thing. That was interesting. I got to do a halftime game at one of the Bengals playoff games back in 2010, 2011, back when we were somewhat decent. And it was very interesting to kind of take this path and have this sort of internship because I got to see what the mascots go through, like at Bengals games, and they're intense. Like Who Day, we had to play this halftime show. It was against fourth graders, and they had full pads on everything. And Who Day, the Bengal, was like, if you get a shot, just hit them as hard as you can. He's like, I'm tired of losing. Take your shot. I mean, we got destroyed because, as you can see, I mean, this mouthful is my viewpoint, and it's about this far off my head. So in order to see anything, you have to turn your whole entire body. They're super hot. It's not fun. But, I got to meet like Rosie Red, Gapper, like the people that are inside those costumes, and their stories are incredible. They're very interesting people, and believe it or not, they get paid very well. So if you're ever looking to be a mascot, look into that. Another thing was an inflatable chicken. So I am in that inflatable chicken. This was opening day parade. There's like a belt around me with batteries and that powered fan to keep it blown up, and it was miserable. I had to drink like 6 bottles of water each time I jumped into that thing. So that's, game day was very interesting experiences, very unique. I wouldn't trade it for the world. It definitely opened my eyes to a different side of public relations and comm, being in a mascot suit and not being able to talk, but still try and like portray to people that, you're happy and having a fun time even though you're not. So my next job or internship was with Four Entertainment Group. I'm sure, what grade or class level is this? Is this?
Mostly freshman, sophomore.
Freshman, sophomore, okay. Okay. So Four Entertainment Group, if you're unfamiliar, they have Keystone, the St. Clair, the Stretch Downtown, the Dime Bar, Righteous Room. They have like 15 different bars around Cincinnati. So I took the promotional side of game day and saw that they were looking for an intern. And so this is right up my alley, and I don't have to be in a mascot suit anymore. I can actually talk to people. So through this internship, I managed their social media accounts for all the Keystone Bar and Grills, all of Righteous Room, Sandbar, and the Lackman. So 4 total bars, but 7 total accounts because Keystone had 3 locations at the time. So that was my first kind of foray into social media. It takes a lot longer than people think. I don't know if you've had experience in social media, but there's this misconception of, you just post and it's done. Well, it's not that simple. To make your plan and strategy and make sure that everything flows properly from one to the next, it does take a lot of time. So it's kind of one of those discounted careers, I feel, that people say, you just post for fun. It's not really the case.
We just talked about social media.
Really? Okay, well, perfect. That wasn't really my forte. I wasn't really huge into it, but I just really enjoyed Four Entertainment Group, the company, and what they were doing. So, I kind of just grind my teeth, get through it, do the social posting. But what I really enjoyed most was every year we would go to Bunbury. So I would actually get paid to go to Bunbury, walk around and watch bands, and hand out koozies to people and say, hey, come to the Lackman, come to Righteous Room, wherever their after parties were. So that was neat because I got into a lot of events that I probably wouldn't have gone to. But the fact that we'll pay you to go and do this, why not? And then also, other promotions, so like the Cincy Beer Fest and things like that. So that was, my experiences through college. At this time, I was coming to graduation in December of 2012, and that was kind of, all right, where am I going to go with this? You can do everything in comm, and unfortunately we hear that all the time, and it's like, well, what can I do in communication? What can I do with this degree? So I kind of, after college, stepped back, and I was searching for any job that I could with PR agencies or big firms. It was very short-sighted and kind of stubbornness on my end, but I didn't really know what I could do with it. So at this time I was serving full-time at Keystone because I was like, why not? I'm working for 4EG. That'll play in pretty nicely. I was also working part-time at a golf course. This is Ivy Hills out in Anderson, if any of you are familiar. And again, searching for work, but very stubbornly. I was very dead set that I need to have a marketing manager job or a communication manager job, something more management style. That's not reality. To get into management right away, if you can do that, that's impressive. Especially if it's looking for, like, I was looking for PR firms like Ketchum or places like that. I wanted to work for a big international company and have a chance to travel was my main goal. So this all didn't really work out for me. I decided to up and move to North Carolina. It's called a playability test for the PGA, and that's if you want to be a club pro, you take this test, 36 holes, 2 rounds, all at once. If you pass it, then you can kind of start your way into the educational program of it and become a club pro. So I made a bet with myself, if I take the test, pass it the first time, then I'll go that route. So took the test, passed it up in Springfield, Ohio, jumped in the car, drove to Wilmington, North Carolina for a phone interview right after. So that was a long 2-3 days. I got the job and I decided, okay, well, why not? Let's move down there. I think that's a good opportunity. It's a large golf management company that has golf courses all around the world. This could be my opportunity to move up, advance, even if I have to start as golf professional, to move into their marketing arm somehow. Well, this was a retirement community down in Wilmington. I didn't really think this one through. My focus was teaching juniors how to play golf and running junior clinics and building the game from the youth, and there weren't really any juniors down there, so didn't really work out how I had planned it, but that's life. You just gotta keep rolling with the punches. At this time, Ivy Hills actually had a full-time position for assistant golf pro back up here in Cincinnati, so I come back to Cincinnati, kind of tail between my legs, whatever, didn't work, on to the next thing. So I come back, I tough it out at Ivy Hills for 2 years. For those that may not be aware, the golf industry is brutal. The sports industry is brutal. The hours, they're not very good to you. So in the golf industry, I was working 60 to 80-hour weeks in the summer. No chance to really go on vacations or enjoy 4th of July, Labor Day, things that people do during the summer, because I was always hosting golf events. So this kind of started to wear on me a bit. But through this, I had the experience of merchandising our pro shop, doing email campaigns to our membership, creating flyers for our membership, and really starting to get a little bit more into a marketing role in a smaller sense. So, I started to feel a little bit stagnant. I didn't see much growth. The nice thing when I moved to North Carolina is I had met 10 to 12 other professionals that had been in the industry for 8 to 10 years, and of them, there's only one still left in the golf industry. So it was kind of good that I had met this group of people. They really helped me to think, maybe there is a different route outside of golf, which I was very stubborn in the sense, I want to stay in golf. My grandfather was a golf pro. I always played, that was my passion. But, sometimes you just got to bite the bullet. And I just quit, again, stubbornly. Didn't have any job lined up, I just quit. So this was in November of 2016. I decided to take a road trip. I don't have a job, I don't have anything going on. I've got family that lives up outside Boston, a sister that lives outside Philly, and a friend that lives outside New York. So I was like, all right, I'll take a road trip, take a week off, just kind of, not have to worry about work, not have to think about anything. And, when I come back, I'll hit the ground running. The nice thing is I had a lot of members that were kind of reaching out, hey, if you need work, we'll go ahead and, we can interview you or send you along to somebody. So the one nice thing of the golf industry is networking is incredible. You will meet awesome people. That have any types of jobs all throughout any industry. So I decided, let's go on a road trip. I'll start off going to Amherst, Massachusetts. So left about probably, I don't even remember, sometime early in the morning, drive all through the night and get to my sister's house. My parents were there. I had no idea that they were even visiting her. And they live in Dayton. So I'm like, why didn't you guys tell me you're going to be up here? So yeah, I run into them. I stay with her a couple nights. I get a call while I'm up there from a friend of mine who's a recruiter. And he goes, Kevin, I got this very interesting job proposal for you. It's for a manufacturing technology company. They make software, CAD/CAM software to operate laser cutting machines that cut sheet metal. I'll show you guys a video after all this so you can kind of see what it looks like because it is actually very fascinating. So he calls me, he goes, it's an office administrator role. There's potential for a marketing role down the line. Well, me being stubborn, I don't want to be an office administrator. I turn him down. I say, man, that's not really up my alley. You know, I need something that's a little more like punch to it. So I turned him down, stay in Amherst about 2 or 3 days. Drive down to New York. It's about a 3-hour drive from there. Visit a buddy overnight. Stay there and then leave to go to Philly. It's about 2 hours from New York to Philly. So I drive there. I get there the Thursday before Thanksgiving. Go out with my sister and brother-in-law, have a pretty good time. Wake up Friday morning to my sister screaming, "Oh my God, Kevin!" And this is what I wake up to. Oh. So I got all 4 of my tires stolen off my car while I was in Philly. I cannot make this up. This is real life. It's like that Allstate commercial when the guy comes out and his car's on blocks and he's like, what am I supposed to do? So what am I supposed to do at this point, right? So I text my mom, send her a picture. She retorts back, at least you don't have a job. And I was like, well, how am I supposed to pay for this? And she meant like you don't have to be back at any certain time. So this is Friday before Thanksgiving. I call the cops, put a police report in. My brother-in-law is born and raised straight Philadelphia, so he's got a very heavy Philly accent, very hot-headed. He's screaming. I'm like, what am I going to do? I can't drive around and find the person. Like, I don't have any cars, or I don't have any tires. In the meantime, this guy rolls around saying, oh, I saw another car around the corner like this. I've got a tow truck and a body shop, and here's my card. I'm like, I'm going to end up buying my tires back from this guy. I'm not going to go. So I put in, call the cops, put the police report in, call Geico, put my claim in. They say, all right, someone will contact you in 24 to 48 hours. Well, Sunday comes around, no contact. I try reaching out to the number they gave me. It's going to voicemail. And I finally get a hold of the guy. And he's like, I can't get to you until Wednesday. And they tell me, don't move your car. We need to check the bottom if there's any damages. And I was like, Wednesday? Like, Thanksgiving is Thursday. It's not going to work. Like, I'll be home for Thanksgiving. So he gives me his manager's number, call his manager. He says, get your car towed to the body shop you want. We'll have an adjuster go there. They'll look at it. And we'll get the order in for your tires, get that moving. Well, trying to find a tow truck to tow a car with no tires is not easy. So I call AAA, then they dispatch someone. He's like, I'm on my way. I hear you have 4 slashed tires. I go, no, I have 1 spare tire and that's it. I don't think you can tow my car. So it took me about all day to find somebody. They finally come out. It's about 9 p.m., get it towed, get everything set. I think this was like Tuesday. Wednesday, they had fixed my car, got in the car, drove straight to my parents' house. I did make it in time for Thanksgiving, actually. So this was kind of that defining moment. On my way, after all of the police report, Geico, getting it towed, I call my buddy back and I go, hey, is that job still available? And he goes, what happened? Well, I sent him this picture. I got my tires stolen in Philadelphia. So at the time, a member at Ivy Hills was asking me, would you be interested in selling newly built houses? And I wanted to go that route. I said, yeah, that seems like it's pretty good money. However, it's a draw commission. So if you don't sell, you don't eat pretty much. After this happened, I was like, I need something stable that's going to give me benefits and everything else. I can't really take this leap into a commission job when I'm having to pay this off. So I call him, he goes, yeah, job's still available. I'll set up the interview for you if you're interested. So I come back, have a phone interview with now my current boss, and she hired me on the phone, which I found kind of strange. It was like, I've never even met you, but okay. So this takes me to the early career at Lantek. This is our office headquarters in Vitoria-Gasteiz, Spain. It's northeast Spain, very beautiful area, very mountainous. Food is incredible there. So in the early career years, I was office administrator in a sector that I had zero idea, like what is manufacturing technology. The only thing I knew was CAD, computer automated design. That's all I knew. I had used it in high school, But then you got CAM, MES, ERP, all these random 3 and 4 letter acronyms that it was a lot to take in. And in an international company. So I finally found my way into a company that has global reach with some opportunity for advancement. So in order to get into it, I don't know anything about this. I just read any and all trade publications I can get my hands on to train myself. Like, what is this industry what do we sell? I don't even know what we sell. What do we do? So at this time, we had a global marketing manager. This is an example of our old brochures that he had made. An example of just terrible stock art. Using robotic arms and whatever Minority Report looking stuff this is. The issue, we're in an industry where people are scared that robotics are taking jobs, when in reality you can't find people to fill the job, so you need robotics to fill that void. But we can't use those robotic hands because it's that mental psyche that people, oh no, I don't want to get that because that's going to push people out. So there's never really any clear messaging either. Everything was very clunky. I think if it was read in Spanish, it probably would have been very well written, but then the translations ended up being a mixture of it was a hybrid of German, Spanish, and British English. And then they would send it to me, and I'm like, can you edit this? And I don't even know where to start. So, just some of the examples. It's just a lot of redundancy, screenshots, just very off-putting. But this is what our software is. So you have a piece of sheet metal, and it puts the parts on there like puzzle pieces, figure out how to best put them in there, and then that laser head there actually goes through and will cut them all. So it is pretty interesting technology. So this takes me into my first trip. I'm still office administrator. They were having a sales and marketing meeting in July of 2016. This is my first year there. So my boss asked me, hey, you want to go over with me? And yeah, of course I do. I'd love to go over there. I've never been out of the country. This is my first trip abroad. Get my passport, get all packed up. So our first flight is from Cincinnati to Detroit. If anybody's ever flown through Detroit, you never leave there on time. We're taxiing to go take off in Detroit. They come over the intercom and say, we have to go back. There's not enough fuel in the plane.
What?
Now this is going to Amsterdam. And they go, there's not enough fuel in the plane. Okay, good thing you found out now, but what? So it took an hour to fill the plane because apparently they forgot about one of the fuselages. So yeah, we finally, we take off. We go from Detroit to Amsterdam. At this time, right as we're landing in Amsterdam, our plane from Amsterdam to Bilbao was taking off. So now we've got an 8-hour layover. They, did that stop recording?
That's good.
Okay. So we've got now an 8-hour layover. We're gonna have to bounce around to Valencia and then up to Bilbao instead of just straight to Bilbao. And we're kind of working with KLM, that's Delta's overseas partner, trying to get on the next flight that goes straight to Bilbao. They tell us, oh, flight's full, there's no seats left, we'll have to put you on the next one. My boss is on the phone with Delta. Turns out we were on that flight. They never looked at our tickets. They just said, oh, it's full. So we were actually on that flight, but we didn't actually go on the flight. So we end up in Valencia. We get to Valencia trying to speak broken Spanish and broken English between people. Hey, we want to make sure our luggage is at Bilbao. Yeah, it's been checked through. Everything's there. So we go Valencia to Bilbao, and we lost our luggage. So we had to run to this mall. By the time we got to the hotel, I think it was 11 p.m., which is 5 p.m. our time, all thrown off. And my boss told me when we were in Valencia, I saw this big bottle of Tanqueray gin, and it was €12, and she was just get it. And I was like, all right. So we were up until 4 in the morning, finish that bottle of Tanqueray, get up at 9, run to this mall, get clothes for the day, thinking, all right, our luggage will be here soon. It was gone for 4 days. We did not have luggage. So we got in Sunday, we got our luggage Wednesday. Had business meetings Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I flew in golf shorts and a polo shirt. So we run to H&M, I get pants, Couldn't find any shoes that fit because they are very small over there in Spain. The largest men's size they had was like a 10. So I was wearing shoes that were 2 sizes too small for a week, walking around like just miserable. It was hot, it was nasty. I was washing my shirts in the sink at the hotel. But we get our luggage finally. So we're like, all right, cool. Now we have it for like the fun part of the trip. So we had 3 days to explore a bit. My boss has been here like 10 times, so she goes, let's go up north and check out Laredo Beach. So, this was all like within 1 day. It was very crunched, and I didn't have time to plan like an extra week because everything was just very shotgun put together. So this is one of the beaches in northern Spain that we had a chance to go to. Didn't really get to like lay on it too much, but at least got to see it. Ate some snails in Getxo. Very hard to eat, but they're delicious. You have to take a straight pin and like pull them out. Some jamon and croqueta. So croqueta is like a potato cheese mixture that's fried and extremely delicious. And then jamon is just cured ham. It's kind of hard to get here in the States, but there are some places that do have jamon. And then I visited the Guggenheim Museum in Bilbao. Interesting thing, all this exterior sheet metal that was cut using our software. It was programmed using our software, so it's pretty neat. Now I'm in this industry, I can't like look at stuff and be like, oh, I wonder who designed that, like if we can get in there and do that. All right, so that was my first trip. It seems every time I travel, there is something crazy that happens. That one, not too bad. Second trip was for our international meeting. My boss had some family stuff come up, so she couldn't go. Another shotgun trip. This was 2 weeks before the meeting. She goes, "Hey, Kevin, like I can't make it. Can you go to the international meeting on my behalf?" So I say, "Yeah, sure. Why not? I don't have any kids. I don't have any family. Nothing to worry about. Like that's fine." So I booked the tickets. I didn't think to like pay the extra to buy the seats. My seat was right next to the bathroom for 8 hours going overseas. No one shuts the door in the bathrooms on the airport or the airplanes either. I mean, they just leave them open, and the whole time I kept closing it. But luckily, that was the worst of this trip. I was able to deal with that. So while we're there, the international meeting, we have 20 offices in 14 countries. So various sales directors, technical directors come into Spain. They go through our annual analysis of sales, revenue, and goals met, goals that we didn't meet, and then moving forward what we need to do. Also showing some products demos. These are new products that they're rolling out to get us familiar with what's coming up and what's in the pipeline as far as development goes. So that was all fun and stuff, but the best part, we really we enjoy to drink and party and eat as a company. So this was like part of our company party after we had our nice dinner. They rented out a bar and everybody just went, open bar, just drink, be merry, have a good time. And just really, they really push meeting and talking with people from the different offices. So, I've had opportunities to meet people from Korea, Germany, France, Spain, obviously, Italy, and it's just been pretty fascinating. I deal with people in Spain almost on a daily basis, and then people in France maybe about once a month. Germany, not so much, but I'm trying to work myself into more of a global role to where I'll be dealing with them all in total. So I was invited to golf, going back to my roots. Do you need to hit record? Okay. So going back to my roots, I was invited to go and play golf with actually the owner of the company. And I had only been with the company a year and a half now at this point. So we were at dinner, he comes up and goes, "Oh, do you want to go golf tomorrow?" And I was like, yeah, but we have meetings and stuff. And he goes, "You don't have meetings." Okay, fine. So we go out, sneak out at lunch, and play. Do I have any golf fans out here? Okay, so he actually belongs to John Rahm's home course over in Spain. So got to play John Rahm's home course. For those that are unfamiliar, he's a very passionate Spaniard professional golfer. Younger, I think he's like 25 or so, 24, 25, but he's he's their god when it comes to golf, pretty much. So it's neat, and being asked from the owner, like, I'd only been there a year and a half. Hey, you want to go golfing? The technical guy I was traveling with was a little upset with me. He was like, you got out of the second half of the meetings. Well, I couldn't tell him no. Like, I would have gotten fired. Like, you don't say no to the owner of the company if they're asking you to go golf. And he was all upset. I was like, well, learn how to golf. And then, duh. So that was the second trip. Again, another shotgun trip, very short. At first, you hear, oh, yeah, I'd love to travel for work. It sounds exciting. It can take a toll. You get in Monday, you leave Friday. That particular, it's a 6-hour difference with about 14-hour flight time in total, plus any layovers or anything that may happen. So it's not, you don't get too much time to explore. The times that we did get to explore was with our company, and we go around the town, they'd show us all that. So the third time, again, international meeting, but I had more time to plan. So I took a week off and got to travel around. They'd already paid my international fare, so why not hop around while I'm there? So I went to Brussels with a buddy, got myself a nice, delicious Belgian waffle. They are everything that they say that they are. Went to Prague for a couple of days, toured the Prague Castle. Got to see the John Lennon wall. They love Lennon in Prague. And this wall is probably 300 feet long, all kinds of graffiti, Lennon lyrics, Beatles lyrics, portraits of him, or Yoko Ono. I don't know if there's one on there. So a very, very unique and interesting area. I went to Amsterdam for 4 days. At this point, my buddy had to go back to Spain for work, so I was just kind of trouncing around by myself. Amazing museums, got to see a Picasso in real life. And Madrid as well. So I went to Madrid for 1 day too. So this was all within 1 week. It was very short, compact, a lot of fun, highly suggested if you ever have a chance. Wear good shoes. I came back with a fractured heel because I wasn't wearing good shoes. I was in a boot for 2 weeks. The Prague streets are all cobblestone, and Amsterdam streets all cobblestone. So, it's very rough on your feet. And I didn't think, I should wear good shoes. And that's why I saw everybody wearing Doc Martens over there, I think. Very thick boot soles. So this brings me to my current years. What do I do with Lantek? What do I do at Lantek? People ask me that all the time. Obviously, I say, well, I'm the marketing manager for the U.S., so I was able to work my way up from office administrator to marketing manager. I think my boss had that goal in mind when she first hired me. We have this kind of ongoing joke that you can't hire anybody better than a Bearcat, which is kind of true. All the salespeople that we've had that weren't UC grads, they are gone. Our current salesperson is a UC grad. He actually went through computer engineering, and he's been killing it. He's been with us for 6 months, and we have what we call the UC grit. We'll read anything we need to. We'll figure out how to do something. If I don't know how to do it, I will research it to death. And if I can't find the answer, then I'll reach out to people in the industry and, not afraid to ask questions. So, she kind of saw that I disliked our current advertising approach. It was all robotics and it's tough. I mean, when you're trying to market something that's not tangible, such as software, how do you market that? So this is one of the messages that I'm working on putting out in new campaigns to first of all, simplify our messaging. We've been very, very held up on saying all the technology we can do instead of just saying we can make your life better, right? If you're a if you're a manufacturer, this would make sense to you. And he's actually enjoying time with his kid. I don't have that luxury because I don't have this system. So trying to really hit on those human emotions and bring the human back into it, push the software to the side. Another thing, again, humanizing our message in our products. So this is a picture actually of the first product in 1986. Our owner's in the front actually there, but just to show we've been around for this long. This is what it looked like in 1986, but kind of show the tenure that we've had in the industry. A lot of people, 1986, that's not that old of a company, 33 years, but been solely focused on technology. So when you really look at it, technology of this capacity hasn't really been around much longer than 50 years. So we're pretty much right in the heart of it. And then I created our plan and budget for the year. When I first started, it was next to nothing. We had a budget for one trade show, which we're going to next week, and that was about it. I fought, got a 300% increase on our budget, just through showing actions that we've taken that were cheap or free, and how we can drive leads, how we can drive messaging, how we can improve our messaging. And my boss had been fighting for it for a while, but she just didn't have somebody in the role to take it over. So they're like, well, we would give it to you, but you can't take on a role of marketing manager, sales director, and office manager. Like, you have too many roles going on. So I think that really helps to push that. So now what I'm doing, I just went through and redid all of our brochures. We had 16 product brochures. I brought it down to 5. Just because 16 product brochures is just crazy. We don't need that many. And I noticed there were a lot of redundancies in them. So my goal is, again, simplifying the message, making it concise, and driving the point home on how you're going to improve. This is the type of stuff manufacturers want to see. How am I going to make money? How am I going to become more productive? How am I going to become more efficient? That's what we need to hit on. Instead of talking about all the technology that we have. Well, yeah, we can talk about that once we get the call, but you need to have brochures to attract that interest. Some other things, I've been published in 3 trade magazines. So there's 2 of them, and then another one that was like a roundtable Q&A, which, I've only been in the industry for 3 years, so I feel I'm on the path where I want to go in making a name for myself in the industry. I also manage ad placements and purchase ad placements. So going back to the humanizing of our product, I decided to do an ad campaign of customers and highlighting either a product that they make and how our solution helped their company grow and how we're helping them to continue to grow. So this gentleman here, they're down in Louisiana. They make metal monograms. I'm sure you guys may have seen ads on Facebook or Instagram pushing all these metal monograms and stuff like that. Chances are they're using our software to program and cut that. I think we've got 5 or 6 of the largest metal monogram manufacturers in the U.S. As customers. And another picture there, just again, really putting the human aspect back into it. I don't think we've ever really done print ads prior to this. If we did, they would be screenshots of our software, robotic arms, and stuff that people aren't going to buy into. They'll just keep flipping the page. And then I also have 2 speaking engagements coming up next week. One of them is on quit making excuses and digitize. So one thing that we hear a lot in our industry is, we just don't have the time, we don't have the money. It's just excuse after excuse. But if they don't do it, then they're going to fall behind more quickly than in past revolutions. So my research on this one is looking at previous industrial revolutions and trying to forecast upcoming ones through various market indicators such as energy, power, energy, transportation, and communication. And then the other one that I'm speaking on, which is going to be interesting, using artificial intelligence and machine learning to quote in manufacturing. I still have a lot of research to do for that one. I'm only a week away too, so I really got to hunker down on that. But it's that UC grit, right? It's that Bearcat grit. I work best under pressure and tight deadlines, so it'll all work out. And then I also manage relationships. So the association that puts this show on, FabTech, is the Fabricating and Manufacturers Association. They're the largest association of manufacturers in the U.S. So I manage our relationship with them. I manage our relationship with the NAM and the PMA. So they're all, again, acronyms, but all manufacturing associations. The cool thing, actually, I just got an email last week from the president of the Fabricator Manufacturing Association. They're in Cincinnati this coming week, and he asked if myself and my boss want to go out to dinner with him and the vice president. So that, it's that reassurance of like, okay, the efforts that I'm putting forward to manage these relationships are actually paying off if they're thinking of me when they're in Cincinnati. I'm kind of like that greasy wheel though, like, or the squeaky wheel. I'll just keep making noise. I'll keep making noise until you like acknowledge I'm there. And I think that's because I was the youngest of six, right? I mean, I always had to kind of fight to be the loudest. And it's not that I'm being obnoxious. I'm just trying to get your attention. Just pay attention to me. What then I do from all this, I analyze all of our marketing efforts for the U.S. This is just a screenshot of Google AdWords. And then I have other methods. HubSpot I use for email marketing campaigns, landing page creation, to get people to fill out forms and show us interest. So analyzing those campaigns through HubSpot. I use Cision PR for public relations or press releases. They do a great job of picking stuff up that's not only online but also put into print as well. So I can get all these reports, see where our placements are, see who's picking us up, and then kind of engage with editors accordingly to try and get more of those industry publications. I just did a huge purchasing spree for some promo items. Since we have this awesome salesman now, we are able to start spending money on promos. So since he just landed 3 what we call advanced manufacturers. They have the whole spectrum of our software. We're like, hey, it'd be really cool to send them like a swag box and stuff. So I got a nice like rain jacket, windbreaker, polo hat. The only 2 things I actually didn't order were those 2, but it's one of these things. I didn't ask my headquarters if I could do it. I'm a firm believer of I'll ask for forgiveness later. But, it was within my budget. I had my budget set. I had done things throughout the year to save some money in the budget, and then him getting these large sales, it was justifiable. So I ended up purchasing 50 of these boxes. I'm packaging them all my own and sending them out just to save some money on that. But once they get what is today? Ooh. Yeah, they'll get the P&L statement next week, and they're gonna send me an email like, "What is this expense?" But it's just that good gesture of you're a good customer to us. You've spent a lot of money with us. The least I can do is send you a jacket, a polo, and a hat. And oh hey, you'll wear this around, and maybe other people will see it, and you'll be a walking billboard for us. But I didn't want to make it tacky, so this was coming back to my golf days of, okay, how do I merchandise and get stuff that people want to wear outside the shop, that they don't feel like they're just a big walking billboard. So it's kind of full circle of utilizing the golf experience that I had merchandising, mixed with just talking with people and building those relationships, and then ordering some. This is the fun part of the job, the ordering the swag and all that stuff. I also design our expo graphics. So this was our booth last year. This year is going to be kind of similar. I don't have it pulled up, but just I wanted to make it clean. In the past, there were a lot of words on our booth, a lot of crazy diagrams that made no sense at all. It may have made sense to like some manufacturers, but when I looked at it, I couldn't do it. I would shut down. So my push, and being that we're a global company, is short messaging, very concise with icons. So in this way I can translate this into the 20 languages that we have quickly, easily, and probably not have to change the words too much. Because I find that when we translate to German, their words are extremely long, so now it's okay, we've got to find a middle ground here. So when I first proposed the idea of these, there was a little bit of hesitation from our headquarters. They didn't, the messaging, we don't know that people would know what we do, would draw people in. They ended up using these all around the world this year. So it's like, kind of made me feel good, like, all right, you guys were leery about it, but now you're using it. So, it's just persistence, I guess. So now I assist in social media. Social media is not my forte, like I said earlier. I don't have the patience for it really. But going back to trying to humanize our product, so bottlenecks in production is when something stops like at one machine and it holds up stuff behind it. That's what a bottleneck is. So you can't move forward until you clear the bottleneck. So this is, manufacturers understand what bottlenecks are for in production. So hey, they're not for productions for beer, or in lieu of the World Series, manufacturing solutions to hit it out of the park. So just trying to take it away from being so software focused, and putting good messaging like that. So outside of Lantek, I'm the vice president for the UC Friends of Communication Alumni Association. My major initiative last year, I managed our rebranding effort. We had a pretty dated and sophomoric logo that we were using. It was just a pennant with UC Friends of Com. And we were really pushing on professional development workshops and mentorships and stuff like that. So I was like, what can we do to make this look more professional? So I worked with two other women, and they came out with this logo, which is amazing. The idea behind it is UC Bearcats going back to the grit, and we think outside the box. So we've got this open box here, and then we're not just Bearcats. We realize that you've got also your personal lives and what you enjoy. So that's what the Beyond Bearcats is. And now that we've graduated, we're out of school, like we're beyond UC, but we still have our tie back to it. My biggest effort in this was creating the new website. Again, make it more professional. It was blog-based before. It was on WordPress, and it's trying to push a professional development and professional type of look and feel. We were just kind of missing the mark on that. So I went through and just revamped the whole website, made it more as an association type of thing or organization, as opposed to just writing blogs every now and again. And I've got some cards up here if you all are interested. We do have our mentorship program open right now too. If you guys are looking for mentors, feel free to head out to the website. And I'll leave some cards here for you guys, so you can reach out there, or we can send a link along to you if you're interested. So what we'll do is we'll match you with a professional either in the area or remotely, depending on what your skills are that you're looking to learn more about and what skills they have, to match you guys together so you can, what do I do here, or how do I navigate this, just to help you through school pretty much. Because I was right here, gosh, it's been 7 years, it's crazy. I was right here 7 years ago, and what can I do? All right, I'm about to graduate, but what can I do? And then assist in any other initiatives, so any socials that we have, fundraising events, things of that nature. So my advice, number one, I would say, is take risks. I would not be working for Lantek had my tires not get stolen in Philadelphia. And I hate to attribute to that. So I'm not saying go to Philadelphia and get your tires stolen, but take some risks every now and again. You got to feel uncomfortable in order to move forward in life. Be inquisitive. Always ask questions. Always research. Always look into other ways of thinking or doing things. I think unfortunately too many people are told this is how you have to do it, and then that's it. Don't be told that you have to stay within these confines. Research for yourself and think for yourself. Take pride in what you do. I spent a lot there. Those brochures, I probably went through 10 rounds of revisions on. The website, again, probably 10 rounds of revisions. But I would rather take the time and knowing that the final product is going to be a good product that's put out there, because I don't want that dark mark on my record, or not record, but you put out a bunk brochure that nobody likes. I mean, so take pride in what you do, own up to it. If it doesn't work, that's the biggest thing. Hey, it didn't work. This is why it didn't work. Own it and just keep moving on. Be honest. Don't throw anybody under the bus. If you did something that didn't work out, it's best to just say, hey, that's on me. What can we do to get past this? Network. I know some people, networking is one of those kind of intimidating type things for some, especially when you say we're hosting a networking event, and you're thinking, I'm going to go into a group of 40 people and I won't know any of them, and they won't know me, and they probably all know each other. But I mean, think about LinkedIn, even online, or just within groups that are on campus, and staying involved in that sense. stay connected. I've stayed connected back with UC through the mentorship program. It's just great to see what UC is doing and, kind of what's coming down the pipeline. I toured the 1819 Innovation Center 3 weeks ago. That's amazing. Seeing everything that they're doing over there. Trying to work with them on how can we partner with 1819, given that we are manufacturing technology. The issue is there's only 10 of us here in the States and everybody else is overseas. So it could be a little difficult for us. Find your style. I think that took me a while, but when it comes to presentations or anything like that, everybody's got their own style. But once you find yours, making presentations is so much easier. I've found mine for, the industry presentations I have to give. I've found the template that I like best, and I just use it for everything. Then it's just a matter of changing words out and pictures. Learn Adobe if you can. This was one thing that I always wanted to learn how to use Adobe, like Photoshop and Illustrator, but it was never really high priority for me. But now, given the role that I'm in Illustrator probably 3 days a week. Especially since I was just redoing our brochures, doing our graphics for our show coming up. But I would highly suggest learning it. Even if you think you may not use it, it's a very useful and helpful tool. And last thing, no cheesy stock art. If you're ever working for a company, push them to pay a photographer a couple $100 and get legitimate stock images that portray your customers. This is one thing I've been having a difficult time with, but we're really kind of overcoming it with our headquarters finally, is the use of the robotic arms and Minority Report looking stuff, trying to get more of our customers in there. So that was my journey to where I am now, and I hope you enjoyed it. I don't, again, suggest going to Philadelphia to get your tires stolen, but find yourself something that's going to push you into maybe a career choice. Any questions?
Yes, I've got two questions.
Okay.
So, if you had to change one thing from your college experience, what would it be? And my second question is, don't you feel that sometimes, when you're in college, you feel like you're paying more than it's worth? Because when you graduate, they say, "All right, goodbye, go off and do the right thing."
Yeah. Well, the first one. Well, I'll start with the first question there. If there was anything, if I went back to college, is there anything I would change? I don't think I would. I think being in the computer science field for that brief time that I was, it kind of opened me up to looking at different paths and different avenues to take. And then, obviously the internships, game day, a lot of those mascot ones were, I hate to say it, but punishment. I had gotten a little bit of trouble with them, so I had to wear the mascot suit for punishment pretty much, but, it's still very, very interesting. So I don't think I would really change anything. Actually, the only thing that I would do differently is going back to the learning Adobe skills is I would have taken graphics classes. I tried to take one in the DAP program. The professor said, here's a list of books that you can buy, find the ones that you think are best for you and teach yourself. So I just dropped the class. Going back to the value thing. Why am I going to pay for this class if I'm going to teach myself everything? And you're not even going to tell me, you just gave me a list of books, but it's also there might be other books that you can find, so if you find them, use them. Well, I'm not paying for that. I'm paying for your knowledge and you to guide me in this sense. I feel UC does a great job with internships and really pushing the go out, get this experience while you're in school. I never have felt that the value was never there. I've always felt that UC was a great value and meeting great people, always doing great things with internships and stuff like that. But I will say too, being in the manufacturing technology sector, I see it all the time. Apprentices would have a better shot than going to college for 4 years and then trying to get into manufacturing technology to run these machines, because it's not that you wasted 4 years in a classroom learning theoretical and hypotheticals. It's that this person has 4 years of on the job experience, and you're both the same age. So we're gonna go with this guy's got 4 years, this girl's got 4 years experience. And I'm starting to see a shift in all the research that I do of not pushing college so much anymore and opening more of these trade schools and tech schools. The Ignite Institute down in Northern Kentucky is amazing, what they're doing. Toyota has donated a facility for high school students. They get their GED and associates in manufacturing technology when they graduate at 18. So, and then Toyota's like, hey, you already know all of our systems. You want a job? We don't need to train you. You've already been trained. So I mean, there's definitely different routes to take, but I felt this has always been a good value for me. Any other questions? Yeah.
Since you're an international company, how do you deal with the language barriers? Did you know any other languages?
It is required to know English in our company. I I took German in college because it fit my schedule to graduate early. I don't remember much of it. I can read it a bit, but speaking it, listening to it, I'm lost. Spanish, the difficult thing is where our company's headquartered, they speak Basque, which is closer to like Portuguese, and it's not like Catalonian Spanish, so it's nowhere close actually. Like you'll see signs next to each other, it's Spanish and Basque, and they're completely different. So the language barrier, it is tricky, especially via email, when you're trying to email back and forth, and you're just, what are you trying to say? And conference calling too, but it's patience really is the main thing. Whenever I am over there, I always make sure that I slow down my speech and really enunciate my words, because I know that I couldn't imagine having to translate words in my head in my native tongue. So I always, make sure that I kind of slow down the speech with them. But yeah, they're required to all know English, and I hate that because I'm like, I need to know Spanish. So I have Duolingo that I've been kind of working here and there, but just run out of time. Any other questions?
How does it feel going from like the sports industry to like manufacturing industry where like you're comfortable with like sports but like you didn't know anything about manufacturing?
Yeah, it was, I'm not gonna lie, the first like 6 months at Lantek, I was beating my head against the wall because I went from never being behind a desk and running around like a chicken with my head chopped off to now I'm confined to a cubicle. And at the time, I was just office administrator, so there really wasn't much role or responsibility for me to do. So it was a lot of research, and it was a difficult push, but I wouldn't trade it. I mean, I really, the manufacturing sector is exploding right now. I think it's something I never was taught to look into, and that's just kind of a part of how our educational system is set up and our culture, I think. But now that I'm in it, like I try and push everybody into it because there's so many jobs. But yeah, I mean, it was tough going from a go, always working, always active to, wait, I like come in at 8 and I leave at 5. It's not a question mark to question mark. This is crazy. It was a little difficult to manage that, but after about 6 months and finding my way into more of a marketing role, I was close to leaving Lantek in the early days because I'm like, I went from running around and sitting behind a desk, I can't do this. But then I think it was when they asked me to go to the internet or the sales and marketing meeting in July, that was like, all right, I can see myself moving forward with this company. Any other questions? Yes.
So I really enjoyed your presentation. One of the things that I think was really cool for me was to hear how much you bring together marketing and PR together. Because, I'm sure you've seen it over the last 10 to 15 years, the lines between the two are totally starting to blur.
Yeah.
When I first came here, this is my 5th year, I kind of got a little pushback from our department when I was like, okay, I'm going to use the new rules of marketing and PR in my PR writing class. Well, we're not marketing. Well, we kind of are.
Yeah.
So, and we'd be remiss not to teach them some of those things because they can get those same jobs. You're just evidence of that, so I just think it's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, we have 220 people worldwide, but our marketing team's only 4, and it's 1 here and 3 in Spain. So that's, we kind of have to wear that hat of PR, crisis comm. We had a crazy situation where a company recently stole 20 of our developers. So that was why I've been talking with Suzanne Boys, like, how do we manage this? But you know, you can't just stay in one lane and say this is what I do. And even though I'm in a small company, I feel that is even with larger companies, like always be that team player and say, expand your own knowledge base by helping others out, and spanning that gap of PR and marketing and whatever other comm styles that there are, social media and